Hello and welcome to Lemming TV. In today's episode, I'll be continuing with my Jelle's Marble League career mode. I hope you enjoy. So, if you haven't seen the last episode, we started off our season and did the first event, the Swing Wave. I recommend you check it out. But the teams came in this order. Rojo Rollers won. And also, if you didn't see the last episode or the showdown from last season, you wouldn't know that the Hornets are coming into the Marble League for the first time, and the Crazy Cats and Midnighters are returning. So, before we jump into the balancing events, we will take a look at our messages. So, first up, we've got a quiz, and it says, prize 150. The Jungle Jumpers took a gold medal in archery 2017, but how many places did they gain overall in the standings? And I didn't watch it in 2017, I only started in 2019, so I will guess the most likely option would be 3, and it was 1 apparently, so they must be very high up. And you've been invited to the annual managers conference at the Hailfern in the Arctic Circle. It'll be an honour to have Lemming TV's manager joining us before the season ends, so we will accept that, as what's the point in declining it. And the second event we will do today is the 5-meter sprint as well. So, for balancing, it's a 4-person event, and 5-meter sprint is 1-person event. So, before the 5-meter sprint, we will do a training session to get someone's speed up to 100. Okay, so let's jump into the balancing. So, what the balancing is that you have to try and stay on this long pole for as long as you can, and if you make it to the end zone you get 130 points, and as you see there, they got a perfect score, but they do that every season. So we will start off with the Limers. Let's see what they can do. A couple go fairly early and nobody able to make it to 130, they do get a 120, starting off with a solid 349. The current record on this is 489 by us. Next up, Midnighters making their return for the first time since Season 2. They will come second with a 327, not the greatest of score, but still they do get 1 marble going into the end zone. Next up, Shining Swarm. They came second last season, a tie points with the Balls of Chaos. They'll be hoping to try and have a good season, and they so far having a good event, 398, a pretty good score there. Next up, Oceanics. If you did not watch the real life Marble League qualifiers, then you wouldn't know that they unfortunately have been knocked out in the qualifiers and won't go in real life for 2022, as they were one of my favourite teams, and they are replicating that here with an extremely low 275. Next up, the Yarbles, the only team in our career mode which doesn't exist in real life. They will get 2 into the 130 zone, getting a 414. That is a pretty good score for them. They are up into first in the standings so far. Snowball's currently third in the championship. Let's see what they can do. They don't get the best of runs. That puts them last with a 268 behind the Oceanics. Next up, Savage Speeders. They are second in our career mode. Let's see what they can do here. They get 1 into the 130 range. That's good enough for third. Next up, Crazy Cats. They'll be returning their second event ever since Season 1 of our career mode. They get 2 in the 130, a pretty good score, 409. They are only now 1 position behind the Yarbles, 5 points behind them. Rojo Rollers up now, currently leading our championship. Let's see what they can do. None of them make it to 130, but still most get pretty high up. A solid 376, tying with the Savage Speeders. Balls of Chaos, current reigning world champions. Let's see what they can do. Quite a lot of their marbles fall off fairly early, only 8th for them. Rangers up now. Of course, the team I support in real life, and thankfully they got through into the Marble League this season. They do get one to the 130, but not the best from all the others. They go into 8th. The Hornets up now, the only new team who's never participated in a Marble League in our career mode before. They get a solid 393. That puts them in 4th as we go into the 13th team Primary. They have quite a few of their marbles falling off, but right at the end, Fanes get 130, but they do get a solid 4th position. Now we are up, so for this event there isn't any speed or endurance that we'd need, so the best would probably be to have high motivation and high health. So it's also a 4 marble event, so we don't have much room for changing stuff up, and we will swap out Jeff with Lord Palmer's son, and Pit Diello will be doing his 2nd ever event for our team, as he recently came into our team last episode. Let's see what we can do now. We get a pretty decent score, 1 of us makes it 130, and we jump into 1st position with a 435, beating the Yarbles out by 21 points. Now, only 2 teams can stop us. Green Ducks, who are actually hosting this year's Marble League. One of them falls off from the game 130 mark. That loses them 10 points. They get everyone with an exact number ending with 0. They get a 410, puts them in a decent 3rd position. Finally, the Kobolds. Let's see what they can do. They get 2 into the 130, but their other 2 fell off quite early. That puts them right in the middle with 382. As we get our first win of hopefully many this season, as we try to battle for another championship, as we have come close nearly 3 seasons in a row now. And what does this do for the championship? A extremely good event for the Yarbles. They were using their Joker, and they jump all the way into 1st position with 47 points. That's 16 points clear of the Rojo Rollers, and Savage Speeders. Green Ducks staying where they were. We are jumped from 15th position all the way up to 5th, and Team Primary behind us, Shining Swarm, Cobalts, Snowballs dropping all the way from 3rd to 9th. Not the best event for them. The Limers down to 10th. Then the Hornets, Crazy Cat's Eyes up to 12th. They finished last in their only season so far. Oceanics dropping lots of places from 5th down to 13th. Then Bulls are Chaos reigning world champions on 6 points, tied with the Rangers, and not the best start for the Midnight Wisp, returning for the first time since season 2, only got 4 points in the first 2 events. Now we will, before we go into the 5-minute sprint, we'll do a short training session to try and get someone's speed up to 100, and also be good if their strength and motivation was also pretty high, and we'll probably use Jeff for that. So as I said, we will put Jeff out to try and get the 100 speed. As we get rolling, let's see how many of them we can collect. We get so far all of them, and we get a solid 10. That adds 30%, but doesn't really matter. We could have collected 6, as the extra 18% goes to waste as we get 100. Now we have endurance. We'll look for the person with the lowest endurance. Right now it looks like Bob, who is our captain. We'll put him out, and let's see how much we can get. We unfortunately missed the first one, as I was trying to aim for the second, and we only are able to get 6, which adds 12. Still fairly good. He's up to 65. Next up is strength. So we have a few very low scores and a few very high, with our lowest being Tom, only 43%. And we'll put Tom out to try and get that score a little bit higher. As we go now, we'll try and get as many of these as possible. We unfortunately missed one, but we are able to get 7. That adds 14%, getting him up to 57. Next up, motivation. We won't put Tom out again, he's got 100. But we do have some pretty decent motivation to 100. And our lowest, I do believe, is Pitt the Elder, the new marble in the team. For only 77%. We will put him out and let's see how high we can get him. We get rolling as we're able to collect most of them, but we do miss a couple. As we get solid 8, that adds 16%, getting him up to 93, pretty decent score. Now we have health, so I remember seeing that, I believe Jeff, yes, he only has 50% health, and seeing as we will be running for the next event, it might be a good idea to try and get his health a little bit higher. As we get rolling, let's see what we can do now. There's quite a lot in a row before a quick turn, and unfortunately we just missed out on getting the 10th one, but still decent. We get him up to 68. And finally we have tiredness, so this is the opposite from all the other ones. We want this to be the lowest, not the highest. And right now I do believe Lord Parmesan has the highest, 27%. And we want to try and keep these numbers under control, or otherwise we might have similar situations to last season where we had some really poor stats on some marbles. As we get a decent 8%, that reduces it by 16, now down to 11. So, as we have completed our training session, we will now go into the 5-minute sprint, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's just get to the finish line as fast as possible. So as we see the example marbles doing it, it's not got that many technical parts, and the higher speed the better. Current record is a 6.846 by Mellow Yellow, who currently aren't in the season. First up, Lime's Midnight with Shiny Storm and Oceanics. Let's see who can get the win. Looks like Shiny Storm and Oceanics are going through to the next round, so top 2 go through the next round, bottom 2 are eliminated. As we go into the next round, Yarbles, Snowballs, Savage Speeds and Crazy Cat's Eyes. Of course, the Yarbles currently leading the championship after their solid performance last time out and their very good use of their Joker. Let's see who gets through. It's very close there. It'll be a photo finish, and the Yarbles just about get through. Crazy Cat's Eyes missing out by 13 thousandths of a second, and the Snowballs within a tenth of the Yarbles. So Yarbles and Savage Speeds go through to the next round. Next up, Rojo Rollers, Balls of Chaos, O-Rangers and Hornets. Rojo Rollers doing very well this season. The same can't be said for the O-Rangers and Balls of Chaos, who are tied on 6 points. Let's see who goes through and who's out. Looks like O-Rangers and Hornets, I believe, will go through, yes. And the Rojo Rollers and Balls of Chaos out, but a very small gap between the Rojo Rollers and Balls of Chaos there. Next, we're up against Cobalts, Green Ducks and Team Primary. So I said we will put Jeff out, as he does have 100 speed, and speed is key for this event. As we get rolling, let's see what we can do. We get a early lead, and it looks like we will be able to carry this through the rest of it. A very fast time there, with a 6.873 just off the record, and the first sub 7, I believe, I've seen in so far. Now we'll go into the first semi-finals. Shining Swan, Oceanic, Yarbles and Savage Spears. Yarbles, of course, are championship leaders, but it looks like they aren't going to the finals here. They lagged quite far behind in last place. Savage Spears and Shining Swarm heading to the final, and we are up against the Cobalts, Hornets, and Rangers. Of course, we'll keep Jeff out as he does have 100 speed. Let's see what we can do now. We are speeding down, and it's very close between us and the Cobalts. A photo finish on the line, and we just about win by 0.02 of a second, with the Rangers and Hornets being knocked out. The Rangers and Hornets still having pretty good times. Rangers 5th, then Oceanics, Yarbles in 7th, and Hornets 8th. Now the finals we're up against Cobalts, Shining Swarm, and Savage Speeders. We will keep Jeff out. Now let's see what we can do here. We get rolling any second now. It's taking a while for the gates to go, but we eventually do get rolling. We take a early lead, but it's going to be us and the Cobalts. Let's see. I think we should have got it there, and we do. The second win in a row for us. Cobalts in second, Shining Swarm in 4th, and Savage Speeders rounding out the podium. So we see here the podium. We win a second event, but we still aren't able to get past the Yarbles. Yarbles still retaining their lead, but much smaller now, only 5 points. And so we are currently in second, jumping up 3 positions. The Savage Speeders in 3rd position. Then the Cobalts in 4th, Rojo Rollers and Green Ducks, Shining Swarm, Hornets and Oceanics making up quite a few positions. And the Team Primary and Snowballs going in the wrong way. Snowballs have started 3rd in the start of the episode, now down to 11th. Crazy Cat's Eyes in 12th. Limers 13th. Rangers in 14th. And the Balls of Chaos and Midnight was quite far behind everyone else in 15th and 16th. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.